All right, the Washington Commanders get good news right after the Super Bowl. If you're new to the channel, we're Detroit Lions fans, but this channel fully dedicated to teams that just kind of get overlooked by the national media. And in this video, we're going to show you exactly what I'm talking about right here. So when the Eagles win the Super Bowl, the thought is, uh-oh, bad news for the Commanders. In your division, bad news for you. Future, ooh, you thought you were great. Future's not great. It's like, wait a second. Let's look at the facts. The facts show us that the Philadelphia Eagles started the season. Here's their schedule: 2-2, and then rattled off victory after victory. I think they went 12-1 after 14-1 after that. But look at this. Who did they lose to? The Washington Commanders. So out of all those teams, the Commanders were able to beat them. They lost here 26-18, but their lone loss comes to the Commanders, who are in the beginning of their build, the beginning of it. So to think that the Commanders would be upset, worried, scared of the Philadelphia Eagles, I just don't buy it, because you've got a rookie quarterback, the culture's getting set, everything is just starting in motion, and the Washington Commanders played right with the Eagles. And wait until they go through a couple draft cycles. Like, wait until Jaden Daniels matures another year into year 2. Wait until the Eagles lose their offensive coordinator, right? There's so much that can change. So the good news is, of all the teams, Lions being one of them, the Commanders, I feel like the Commanders are just like, we're not scared of this team. If you look at their personnel, better than the Commanders, no question about that. Because they've gone through draft cycles, they've got really good free agents. They're really good, but the Commanders have been able to play right with them and beat them. The only team that beat them in the last 4 months. So I think they're going to be just fine. Let me know your thoughts on that one. Next one, I think you got to be excited if you're a Commanders fan. After the game, the Philadelphia Eagles were interviewed and talked about, like, what's this, how did this happen? What's the key to winning a Super Bowl? All the normal questions you get. And over, the Eagles, who just won the Super Bowl, are talking about the culture. It's yes, you need players, duh, but it's the culture. What do the Commanders have? What do the Lions have? They have cultures in place. It's not hot shot, young head coach that wins. It's these culture guys. And so you've got one in Dan Quinn. We have one in Dan Campbell. So he's like, okay, coordinators can come and go, players can come and go. We can add good players. That's awesome. But for the most part, you have to have the coach, you have to have the quarterback. Check for the Commanders. Okay. Next question, right? Like, I love that, and knowing that they've got the guy that everybody's like, I don't know, what about this or what about that? It's like, you got the guy. You already have the guy in place, and now already went to the playoffs, knocked off the Lions, and here we go. So let me look at this here. So speaking of that, we started to look at the Commanders. They've got draft picks. They've got cap space. So it's like, we're going to be in great shape. Next thing, let me show you this this is one free agent that every team should go after. Check out the Commanders. DeMarcus Lawrence. Even as the Commanders surge past all expectations, the playoff berth, their defense needs legitimate upgrades across the board. That's another thing. It's not like, man, our defense, there's so much room for growth. But why are we able to win? Why are we able to close out these games? Because of culture. You have the players scheme. There's like good things that the Commanders did, obviously. But there's also so much room for growth in the Commanders that I don't think you need to be worried at all about the Eagles. So Lawrence, here's one. DeMarcus Lawrence was sidelined for most of 2024 with a foot injury. He's 32 years old, but he was sensational in 23. So look, here's just one idea. But you add a couple of these players, even an older guy, give me 1 year. The defense can add players both through the draft and veteran guys that is just going to be perfect. Another one. this is who you can draft. Here's a wide receiver, Jaden Higgins, day 1 or day 2 options. Look at what you need. You need corner and you need defensive end help. Doesn't everybody though? So the fact that you have a defensive minded guy that can at least lead you through and navigate your defense while it comes along is another thing that I think is really important. So again, the Eagles win the Super Bowl and you're watching your division team, a team in your division win. It's just like, okay, they knocked you out. You're like, okay, I don't know about this. It's like, ultimately, right? You're at the beginning stages of where they're 4 years down the line. You're at the beginning of it. So, and this is what you want too. If you're Philadelphia Eagles, if you're in this division, you want to play against good teams. You want other teams to be good. I mean, the NFC East there for a while when the Giants weren't good, Cowboys weren't good, Commanders weren't good. It's just kind of like, or the Cowboys were okay, but they were beating up on the other teams. Same with the Eagles. And it's just, let's just be good and let's figure out who's going to win the division. Whoever doesn't win the division is still getting the playoffs. And let's just go play. And you can see how the Commanders didn't win the division. Go play the Lions and beat them. And you're like, okay, dang. Why? Because they played good teams throughout the year in their division, and so they go play a good team, and they're right there toe-to-toe. And so it's like whoever doesn't win the division is still going to be really good, and we can make the playoffs, and you're not just going to be one and done like the Lions were. I think the Lions are really good. I think, this is not a Lions podcast. We don't need to talk about that. We don't need to go back there to Frankie Louvu just nailing our quarterback. That should have been a penalty. No, I'm just kidding. You guys killed us. You killed us. Jeez. Just killed us. As a Lions fan during that game, never felt good about it. There's a couple, like early on, started running the ball. I was like, all right, let's go. But then once it started to go south, it was like, this is over. I seriously, like, without trying to be like a negative, like just be super negative and be like, oh, we suck, we're done. It's like, no, I'm seriously, like, we're in trouble right now against the Commanders. Can't stop them. And every drive just takes 8 minutes. So if we don't score, they get it back. We won't see the ball again for another 8 minutes, and they'll just keep going for it, and they're probably gonna score a touchdown anyway. So, all right, hey, if you're a Commanders fan, life's good. You're all good. Don't worry about these Eagles. You're in great shape. Life's good. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll see all of you on the next one.